Enter the world, but tread with care. Those roots remember every prayer. Carved from ash, from bone, from flame. The sacred beasts don't play or game. Here change comes, swift on silver wing, with dragonflies that bite and sting. Truth flickers soft and sharp as steel, and every wound must learn to heal. Don't come armed with hollow lore. This world won't let you fake the war. For those who think they understand, you'll bleed the fastest by your hand. So read and ache, be torn apart. These stories rise from broken hearts. With grit and teeth they scream and soar. You've never known a world like this before.
Welcome to The Black Butterfly, Book 1 of the Sacred Blood series by Sarah Yuher. 8. The Winter Ball. 34th of Ravenox Night, 8311. Kieran. After he delivered offering Aerlias to Winter Manor, Kieran was ordered to stay put by Master Briar. He had spent the last month leading up to the ball in the guard barracks and would join the manor guards in their daily training. When his grandfather arrived with a squad of Dhampirs that had taken out that werewolf pack last year, he reported to him on his trip with the offering to the manor. He had seen the girl around Kename Academy many times, the first time being when he was 9 and his father had taken him there on a trip to see his grandfather. While his father and grandfather were in a meeting, he had gone to the kitchens for a snack. Aerlias was a tiny girl scrubbing pots and pans among the other slave children. He had watched her unnoticed by the other children for a time, so he saw that one of the other kids had slipped a few dried apple wedges into her pocket. The kid then ran to the chef, claiming he saw her steal them. When the chef had rounded on Aerlias about the theft, Kieran had intervened. He explained what he had seen to the chef about how the little boy had stolen the apple wedges and slipped them into her pocket to get her in trouble. The chef had recognized Kieran as General Maverick Briar Dalbloodotha's grandson and had believed him over the slave boy. Kieran wondered if Aerlias remembered him. He didn't think that she recognized him. Dhampir children are impossible to tell apart from human children. It isn't until they hit puberty that they gain their more vampiric traits, their body temp lowering, and the elongating of their upper canines into fangs. I will miss Coffee Bean's warmth when that happens, he thought sadly. While they don't need blood as vampires do, and sunlight won't harm them, they do crave blood and find sunlight uncomfortable. More robust than humans, they were desirable as soldiers and guards for the vampires. As he looked into the mirror, Kieran sighed at his unruly hair. The black locks with natural blood-red highlights never wanted to do as they were told. Even cut short, they spiked slightly instead of staying flat like he wanted. His amber eyes frowned back at him from his reflection. His grandfather wanted him to be among the guards for the ball, so he needed to look his best. His black uniform was neat, tidy, and perfectly pressed, yet his hair refused to do the same. Giving up the fight with his hair, he decided it would have to do. He went downstairs to where the other guards for the ball were assembled before his grandfather, General Maverick Briar Dalbloodoth. They stood in formation in the barracks common room as they received their orders. The orders were simple: mingle and look good while being vigilant for any danger to Lord Frostfang, his fledglings, or, more importantly, Princess Ithra. The only ones at the ball permitted to carry weapons tonight were Lord Frostfang, his fledglings, and the guards. Princess Ithra rarely carried weapons herself, but she was also included in this group if she chose. While the vampires were allowed to get closer looks at the offerings, they were not allowed to bite them, and the guards were also instructed to remind any vampire that tried about the rules. For that night, when they spoke to the vampires to remind them of the rules, they spoke with the authority of Lord Frostfang himself. The guards were also instructed to make sure that the human slaves were not killed by overfeeding. When one was bitten twice, they would be escorted back to their rooms. The high necks of the guards' coats would indicate that they were not to be fed upon. General Maverick also told the guards they could not bite or drink alcohol. If offered food, they were permitted to accept. Dhampir maids and servants would be out among the crowd with glasses of blood wine for the vampires to keep the vampires satiated into following the rules. Many of the lords and ladies had also brought some of their night children, so the ballroom was open to the ball, but the bulk was in the grand garden. Dragon swords would also be on guard detail with Maverick's men. No one was comfortable with so many vampires in Winter Manor at once. When General Maverick released them, the men headed from the barracks to the large garden where the ball would be held. Maids and servants were already there chatting near their stations where they could refill their trays with more blood wine. A few held trays of finger foods for the damper, and human servants of the guests attending the ball with their masters. Mistress Rose had spread the word that unmarried Dampiers were allowed minor flirting among the guest Dampiers. One of Kieran's cousins had warned him that the vampire was particularly interested in his lack of a wife and had made noise about marrying him off. If I don't choose soon, Aunt Rose will make me choose, Kieran thought glumly. The garden was a masterwork, even in late winter. Snow covered the flower beds and the sculptures, every sculpture made by Master Lauren's hand. The flower beds were stone and carved with vines and flowers that, when in full bloom, only enhanced the flowers' beauty. Kieran had seen other vampires' gardens, and more often than not, they would have statues of themselves everywhere, but not Lord Frostfang. Nowhere to be seen was his statue, but there were beautiful sculptures of various animals. Many he had never seen or heard of before. His favorite sculpture was of a large toadstool with what he assumed was a fairy dressed in a flowing gown and sitting atop it while holding a butterfly on her finger. This one was underneath the central oak tree in the garden. A platform had been set up in front of that oak, like a three-tiered cake where the offerings would sit to be viewed by the vampires. They were already there and arranged by the quality of the offering. The best sat at the top. Kieran was surprised to see Aerlia sitting in the throne-like chair reserved for the best offering. She was dressed in a white silk dress, and a matching fur-lined cloak kept her warm in the fading light of the setting sun. Her chocolate brown hair shined in the candlelight, brushed to silky perfection. The natural wave of her hair had been curled to ringlets at the ends. She wore soft white leather gloves and boots, her hands neatly folded in her lap. She looked like an angel sitting there, which took Kieran's breath away. The only thing that marred her beautiful perfection was the fear written all over her. The sight of that fear clenched at Kieran's heart, and he longed to go to her and protect her like he had that day in the kitchen so long ago. The two Dampiers on the tier below her shot her dirty looks from time to time. Usually, a damper was the best offering, but even with every girl on the platform done up to perfection, Aerlia's outshined them. The others are like candles to her son, Kieran thought to himself. A table was set up before the offerings, ink and quills lined up with papers with each of the offerings' names at the top and a brief description. Lords and ladies could write down their bids for the silent auction for the offerings that Lord Frostfang did not choose. Opposite the offerings platform was a dais built into the wall that held up the balcony of Lord Frostfang's private garden. The dragon Seraphina was already curled up on the dais, seemingly asleep, two torches on either side of her, making her cobalt scales glitter and shine. Behind her, the wall was carved to depict her flying through the mountains with Lord Frostfang upon her back. In the whole of the garden, it was the only place the Master of Winter Manor was depicted. The base of the dais was carved with vines and flowers that flowed seamlessly to the stairs that led up to Lord Frostfang's private garden, curved so that they ended right in front of Seraphina. Those stairs were where the Dragon Lord would descend from once all the guests had arrived in the garden. Once the sun had fully set, vampires and their human servants began to enter the garden. Kieran joined with the other guards in mingling amongst them. He had a vigilant eye on the crowd as he made small talk with the vampires approaching him, though his gaze always strayed towards Aerlia's. He saw Master Lorenz speaking with many of the lords and ladies about the sculptures around the garden. At one point, Kieran's grandfather had taken the opportunity to discuss adding on to Kenaim Academy, as they had been getting a surge of recruits and needed to expand the barracks. Masters Loki and Minden were near the offerings, reading through the descriptions of each before going amongst them. Minden had second choice tonight after their Night Father, and he seemed most interested in the offering from Lord Ferris. When the pair returned to the table, Loki wrote bids for a few offerings. If Kieran was not mistaken, one of them was Aerlia's. It seemed many vampires were quite impressed with her, a few seeking out General Maverick to ask him about her. More than once, Kieran saw vampires going back to the paper that was for bids on her to outbid whoever outbid them last. It was common knowledge that Lord Frostfang rejected every offering made to him, so it was unsurprising that the lords and ladies were trying to outbid each other for her. One vampire, though, Lady Reyna, if Kieran did not miss his guess, only bid on her once, but kept looking between him and Aerelius thoughtfully as she spoke quietly with her husband, Master Leonidas. Master Loki did not seem concerned that he would be outbid. He had often gone to their lord and asked him to outbid everyone at the last moment when he was particularly interested in a new source of blood for the wine he made in his winery. With the fortunes vampires would pay for mason work from Master Loren and wine from Master Loki, Lord Frostfang could afford it. When you added in the amounts people paid the Dragon Lord when they needed the help of his military, one could safely bet that Lord Frostfang was one of, if not the most, wealthiest vampires next to the royal court. Master Briar and the other generals of Lord Frostfang's army stood together, hearing proposals from lords and ladies. An hour after sunset, Princess Ithra arrived in the garden. Dressed in a beautiful blue silk dress and matching cloak, she paused as everyone in the garden bowed down to her. Surveying the assembled guests, she nodded to them. "Enjoy the ball, everyone." With her permission, everyone resumed their mingling. While Kieran mingled a few times as he passed by, some of the serving maids, all of them Dampiers, would give his rear a playful pinch and a wink when he turned toward them. The maid, Linny, managed to get him twice, whispering huskily, "Should I come to your room again tonight?" His fangs ached as they extended with the thought of Linny coming to his bed, and he had to quickly find the calm void his grandfather had taught him to go to as he watched her sashay away. Watching the maid, he didn't notice his grandfather walking up behind him. "I think you have been too long away from the academy. Your blades need to be sharpened." The void shattered, and Kieran was glad he didn't jump and squeak like a child. Kieran turned to his grandfather and saluted the general. "Yes, sir." General Maverick regarded him thoughtfully. "Maybe it's time to ask Lord Frostfang to test your swords," he mused. Kieran felt the blood drain from his face. Before any soldier could begin the path to general or be accepted into the Dragon Swords, their blades had to be tested by Lord Frostfang. Kieran had watched the test a couple of times. Each time, it was like watching a cat torture a mouse, a very bored cat torturing a mouse. "You think the boy is ready?" Masters Vex and Rex had walked over. They had been Damper twins before being turned into vampires. Rex was the one to speak. Kieran bowed to them along with his salute. "I believe he is. Put him into extra training to distract him from women and hone his blades back to a fine edge. He could take and pass the test in a month." General Maverick mused. He had seen and heard the interaction with Linny. The Ghost of Canem Academy. I have not seen this one fight yet. I would be most interested in assisting with sharpening his blades for the test. Vex this time. Kieran fought for the void to keep himself from trembling with fear. If Masters Vex and Rex were going to take an interest in his training, he wondered if he would even be able to move for the test. In order of skill, Frostfang was the top-tier cream of the crop. Master Briar couldn't beat him, though he was the only one to last more than 30 minutes against him. Vex and Rex were next in line after him. They lasted 25 minutes each. His grandfather and father had taught him to kill quickly and efficiently. Drawn-out fights would tire you and increase your odds of making a fatal mistake. So he had worked on striking accurately and rapidly before anyone knew he was there. That's what gave him the nickname of Ghost. 5 years ago, when Lord Frostfang had ordered his army to take the hold of a minor vampire, Kieran had infiltrated the main manor house. Kieran had stalked the vampire and taken him out before he or any of his night children even knew he was there. After that, Mistress Rose had taken an interest in him. Although he mainly stayed at Canem Academy, she would send him off to leave bloody reminders to other lords and ladies. Sometimes, he wondered if he was the dragon's ghost or Rose's. "Yes, we would very much like to assist in sharpening this one's swords for the test." Rex leaned close to Kieran's bowed face and sniffed lightly. His brother mirrored him. "Can you smell it, brother?" Under his fear of the test, Vex asked. "Yes. There is potential in this one." Hopefully, our Night Father doesn't give in to his enjoyment of watching heads fly. They laughed together as they stood straight. Go and stalk the ball, Ghost. Remind them of the Dragon Lord's strength. They intoned together, sending shivers down Kieran's spine. He straightened his bow and saluted to them. As you command. My blood and blades are Lord Frostfangs. He responded before turning to mingle with the other guests. Kieran noticed one of the vampire lords who had gone to view Aerlias as he wandered near the offerings. All the guards had been given packets with descriptions of all the vampire lords and ladies attending and brief explanations of their holds and bloodlines. Lord Remus, one of the weaker lords in attendance, if not the weakest. Kieran headed over to the pair when he realized that Lord Remus intended to bite Aerlias. He could not protect her from her fate to be given to a vampire tonight, but he could stop this from happening to her. Kieran reached out a hand to tap Lord Remus on the shoulder as he began to speak. The honor of the first taste is, he did not finish what he was saying when he felt his arm break as Lord Remus rounded on him. The vampire had grabbed his arm and twisted it in a direction no arm was supposed to go. The vampire punched the side of his head, sending stars across his vision. The force of the hit sent Kieran into one of the two damper offerings just below Aerlias. The girls screamed, and the one he had landed on held on to him as she cushioned Kieran's fall. His head was ringing when Seraphina's deafening roar erupted throughout the garden. Lord Frostfang. The vampire that looked back at Frostfang from the mirror seemed annoyed? Irritated? Sad? Frostfang rolled his shoulders and fidgeted with the coat Rose had commissioned for the ball. The dark blue silk looked almost black. The only embroidery was the ice blue dragon over his right breast and a frozen chain on the right sleeve. The chain matched the tattoo on his right forearm, the only physical mark of the bond between him and Seraphina. Besides Seraphina and him, the only people who knew of the tattoo were Rose, Briar, Apollo, Princess Ithra, and the vampire women he had taken to his bed and not killed. He wasn't sure why he had kept it a secret. He just had and didn't see the point in showing it off. If you continue to fidget with your coat, you'll rip it and Rose will be upset with you. Seraphina chided him. He sighed. I wouldn't say I like vampire gatherings, he responded to her. He hated the politics and the posturing. None of them know a thing about honor. He chuckled darkly, thinking of the oaths he had broken. I know, but you were ordered to hold this ball and finally pick an offering. While I hold no loyalty to your sire, your death is not something I wish for, Seraphina reminded him. Princess Ithra has seemed more cross with me than normal lately. She has. Frostfang rubbed his temples to try and get rid of the headache he felt should be there. He grabbed his sword from where he had set it and attached it to his belt. He looked one last time in the mirror as he left his room. Is there anything I should know before I head down there? He asked Seraphina. Just the usual politics and posturing among the vampires. I will say that offering Aerlias looks beautiful. Rose outdid herself with her. The lords and ladies have been bidding on her like crazy. It would be worth you picking her to see the looks on their faces. Frostfang grinned at the thought. He was ordered to pick one. He walked through the antechamber towards his private garden. When he entered the garden, he smelled that perfume again, fire lilies with the undertone of a campfire in the forest and freshly baked bread. He looked around his private garden but saw no one there. Something is happening, Seraphina spoke up suddenly. Frostfang figured one of the vampires was probably causing trouble as he walked over to the staircase that led down to the grand garden. The scent of the perfume only got stronger as he headed to the stairs, and it seemed to call out to him. Once he reached the top of the stairs and looked out at the garden, he found the source of the perfume. The girl was dressed in white silk with a matching fur-lined cloak to keep her warm in the winter night as snow fell lightly into the torchlit garden. Her beautiful chocolate hair was brushed to silky perfection, and the ends of the naturally wavy hair were curled into tight ringlets. Her skin was fair and unmarked by the sun. She was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen, and Lord Remus was about to sink his disgusting fangs into her neck. Frostfang saw red as Seraphina's deafening roar echoed his rage. The sound caused Remus to pause for a second, and that second was all Frostfang needed. With vampiric speed and grace, he launched himself at the platform. His blade was unsheathed before he reached the other vampire, and with the momentum from his jump, he had Remus pinned to the oak tree. His sword pierced the vile weakling through the shoulder and sunk into the tree trunk. Frostfang bared his fangs at the other man, if you could call him that, as they ached and extended. "You dare try to take what is mine by right and law," he demanded of him. He could feel the ruby rage burning through him, leaving no room for anything but the desire to destroy this worm for laying a finger on what was his. "Mine," Remus hissed back, grabbing at his shoulder. "If you will not give me what I am owed, I will take it from you." Frostfang growled at him, twisting his blade. "I owe you nothing, Lord Remus." He spat out the title contemptuously, letting Remus know precisely how weak he thought he was. 2,000 years old, and all Remus had to show for his age was a tiny hold on the border of the plains of the Holy Blade. No wonder he had wanted one of the dragon eggs Frostfang had taken from Lord Draken. "We could kill him." Seraphina had come up behind Frostfang, and her growl was a harmony to his own. "It is our right. Erlias is ours. It is tempting, and Prince Zion would have no right to seek vengeance. This worm has broken vampire law." Seraphina claiming the offering had a calming effect on his rage, allowing him to pull through and think more clearly. Though it still burned through him, he knew his eyes were still like rubies. "Oh yes," she agreed. "Though we could allow him his life for now," he mused as a thought struck him. Frostfang ensured it hurt as he removed his sword from Remus's shoulder. The other vampire's coat made a perfect cleaning cloth for the blade before it returned to its scabbard. Did he wear red to hide the blood? His eyes found Erlia's as if she was the only one there. So beautiful, so terrified. Frostfang went to the girl the other vampire had attempted to bite, and he ran his hand through her hair. "Does she fear me?" "I don't want her to fear me." He frowned at the thought. He didn't care if humans feared him. Why did he care if she feared him? Her skin felt like fire, but it felt oh so good. The aroma of her perfume intoxicated him, fire lilies with the undertone of a campfire in the forest and freshly baked bread. He breathed it in deeply as he leaned forward and nuzzled into the soft skin of her neck. He could feel her pulse beating frantically against his lips as he laid a feather-like kiss on her neck. "Don't fear me. You are mine, my heart's flame." Pulling her to him, he faced the watching Remus. He could see the rage in the other's rat-like eyes. It paled in comparison to his own. "You come here by the grace of my invitation and believe yourself so mighty you can just take what was offered to me as if it's your right?" he demanded of the other. He could feel Erlia's trembling in his grip and hear the rapid heartbeats of her fear. His fangs hurt with the excitement and desire to taste her. "You took what is my night father's by right. In his name, I take what we are owed." Remus hissed defiantly. "You are owed nothing." Her back against his abs, Erlia's molded to him as if made to fit there. Frostfang leaned forward and pressed his cheek to hers like a cat and scent marking, breathed deeply of her perfume, one arm wrapped around her waist above her full hips. He used his free hand to tilt her head to the side. Never looking away from the other vampire, he bared his fangs and bit down into the soft flesh. Erlia screamed. Frostfang drank deeply. The world fell away on a wave of pure bliss. My heart's flame.
O Father, have we failed you? O Mother, have you turned your back on us? What price must we pay for you to send your child unto us? For the chained and the scarred, for the broken and the damned, let us never forget the redemption price. O Father, may you break our chains. O Mother, may you heal our scars. What price must we pay for you to send your child unto us? For the chained and the scarred, for the broken and the damned, let us never forget the redemption price. O Father, can we be redeemed? O Mother, what is life and death? What price must we pay for you to send your child unto us? For the chained and the scarred, for the broken and the damned, let us never forget the redemption price.